What are you doing, huh? Putting in your retainer?
The movie kicks off with Professor Ackerman giving a history lecture. The students are bored out of their minds. One of them, Nelson Elliott, cracks up the class by flashing party photos on the screen. But when the professor turns around, he quickly switches back to the lecture slides. The students burst out laughing. Seeing what's got them going, Ackerman tells the troublemakers to stay after class. He chews out the trio, Anderson, Nelson, and Cory, for slacking off and acting up. He threatens to expel them, but gives them one last shot. They've got to write essays by the end of spring break. Instead of studying, the friends head to Florida. On the way, they accidentally hit an armadillo, splattering blood all over the windshield. The animal's owner, a hippie-looking guy, asks for a ride to make up for it. The teens brush him off and keep driving. Stopping at a gas station, they run into two hot girls with a guy. Cory walks up to their car and suggests meeting up in Florida. Anderson writes his number right on one of the girls' bare stomachs. The guys drive all night. Nelson decides to take a shortcut, and when the others wake up in the morning, they realize they're lost in the middle of nowhere. Wandering around, they end up in some run-down town. Suddenly, people start running toward their car from all directions, playing instruments and partying. The mayor, Buckman, welcomes them. That same day, the town's celebrating Courage and Glory Day. Cory wants to keep going since his brother's waiting in Florida, but spotting a cute girl and the car from the gas station, the guys decide to stay. A motorcycle pulls up, catching the townsfolk's attention. The riders, also trying to take a shortcut, ended up in this weird town too. Mayor Buckman's thrilled to have so many northern kids at their festival. He orders the guests to be put up in the hotel, and the rowdy crowd heads to the inn. The students are treated like VIPs. Malcolm and Leah, the motorcycle couple, stick around for the free food and drinks. Anderson, Nelson, and Cory hang out with some local hotties. Meanwhile, Mayor Buckman scolds his crew for letting a black guy, Malcolm, slip through. The mayor consoles himself that it'll all be over soon. They discuss who gets to take the blonde, Joey. Meanwhile, local musicians are already serenading under her window. Kat suggests to her friends that they quietly ditch this backwater town. Their talk is interrupted by Alexander Harper, who greets them and offers to show them the town's sights. Kat happily agrees, and before she leaves, Ricky gives her his lucky charm. Harper shows her the spot where his parents met, but Kat steers things toward flirting, hinting she's up for more. Anderson, Nelson, and Cory, meanwhile, help a local kid, Hucklebilly, catch a runaway cat. The kid invites them to play, but the students say no, too busy thinking about girls. Seeing the kids upset, they follow him anyway. Hucklebilly plans to lynch the cat and wants them to watch. Shocked, the students try to talk him out of it. Meanwhile, Kat and Harper get intimate in a hayloft. He blindfolds her, but when the blindfold comes off, Kat realizes her arms and legs are tied to horses. He gives the signal, and the animals bolt, tearing the poor girl apart. That evening, the innkeeper gathers all the guests for dinner. She hints that playful Kat is still off with Harper and suggests starting the meal without her. At dinner, Ricky grabs a piece of meat with a tattoo like the one on Kat's butt, but doesn't notice and keeps eating. After dinner, Anderson stays alone with Joey. He spins some romantic nonsense and their chat turns into a kiss, but Nelson interrupts them. The scene shifts to the mayor, who gathers his crew, Lester, Rufus, and Hucklebilly. He gives orders on what to do with the guests. The students party without a care. Anderson and Joey continue their date by a fireplace. Malcolm and Leah slip off to their room. Cory fools around with two local girls. Ricky and Rufus hang out, betting on push-ups. A half-naked maiden slips into Nelson's room. She seduces him and pours liquid down his throat. It's acid, instantly eating away his insides. The next morning, the festival continues. The mayor greets Anderson, Joey, Ricky, Cory, Leah, and Malcolm, inviting them to kick off the celebration. Worried, they ask Harper about Kat, but he says she left with Nelson. Granny Boone signals the start of the festival. She orders the men and women to split up. Meanwhile, at the slaughterhouse, butchers carve up the bodies of the killed students. Heads are stuck on pikes, and the rest is prepped for the festival feast. After the split, the town's men take Anderson, Ricky, and Malcolm to throw horseshoes, calling it a real man's game. Cory tags along with two hotties heading for a picnic. The girls start fooling around with each other, leaving him to just watch. Bummed out, he joins the other guys. The townsfolk offer the guests beer and start the horseshoe game. The targets: Nelson and Cat's heads draped in animal hides. Joey and Leah, meanwhile, bob for apples and barrels. Then they're dressed in local gowns. Ricky joins the women's group, while Joey goes looking for Anderson. During the dances, Leah's led under a giant bell. The crowd freezes, and Granny Boone releases the rope. Leah gets crushed flat. The crowd cheers, but Ricky's horrified and bolts. The laughing locals chase him. Rufus catches him and drags him to the mayor. The townsfolk laugh and clap. They skewer Ricky through from his backside to his mouth. Meanwhile, in the tavern over beers, Cory tells Anderson and Malcolm about the wild stuff the two cousins were doing in front of him. Joey joins them, worried about Cat's absence. On her way to the tavern, a local girl gave her Ricky's lucky charm. Anderson suggests sticking together. They make a plan. Anderson scouts the road, Malcolm looks for Leah, and Joey and Cory grab their stuff. Anderson says to act normal and not let on they're planning to leave. But before they can do anything, the mayor and Granny Boone show up with the townsfolk, blocking their way out of the tavern. The mayor warns them not to disappoint the locals and tells them to head to the square. The students go out, pretending they're staying for the barbecue while secretly moving forward with their plan. Anderson slips into the kitchen and spots blood. Lifting a dish cover, he sees it's just melted strawberries. Two men confront him. He apologizes for snooping and casually asks where their car is, saying he wants to dress up for the festival. They point him to the barn and he leaves. Meanwhile, Malcolm searches for Leah. He sees a girl in leather running off and, thinking it's her, follows. But the locals, led by the mayor, grab him and strap him to a table. Then they drop a concrete press, flattening him. Entering a room, Cory sees a half-dressed girl. She seduces him, not giving him a chance to think. As they kiss, she puts on metal jaws and starts tearing him apart. Anderson reaches the barn and sees their car's been wrecked. He spots Malcolm's motorcycle, but the keys are gone. Hucklebilly and the two cousins suddenly appear, shooting at him with a slingshot, and he passes out. When Anderson comes to, he's lying on a table as the main course. Joey's tied up in front of him. The mayor starts uncovering dishes on another table, revealing their friends' heads. The townsfolk are thrilled. The mayor offers Anderson a deal: gut Joey, and since he's got southern roots, he can stay in town. Anderson agrees. They untie him and hand him a cleaver. The crowd starts chanting. But he throws the weapon into the crowd, hitting Rufus. Taking advantage of the chaos, he unties Joey, knocks over a burning cauldron, and they run. The enraged mob surrounds them. The mayor orders everyone to stand down and hands Anderson a saber, challenging him to a duel. Anderson defends himself with a metal lid, blocking blow after blow. He manages to knock the saber from the mayor's hands, taking control. The men grapple as the crowd roars. Anderson rips off the mayor's eye patch, and a swarm of maggots spills out. He grabs a fork and holds it to the mayor's other eye. The mayor swears to let them go if Anderson spares him. The mayor keeps his word, giving the kids a motorcycle to leave. As they ride off, he mutters, "An eye for an eye." The next morning, the terrified teens burst into the nearest police station and spill everything that happened. The officer offers to drive out there with them. When they arrive, they find only an old cemetery. Anderson and Joey can't believe their eyes. The cop assures them no one's lived there for 150 years. Not wanting trouble, Anderson apologizes, and the officer leaves. The teens head home. They don't notice a wire stretched across the road and ride right through it. Hucklebilly gleefully carries off their severed heads. And that's how 2001 Maniacs ends.